G'day and hello beautiful people, it is Mimo here, back for some more Battlefield 1 talk, and this is all about the controller issue that has plagued Battlefield since the fourth one, and it's still present in the first one here, which is really not something you like to hear as a Battlefield fan. Now, what it led to was that your guns were not firing, and depending how long you left it, it actually seemed like the play got worse and worse, and it spread the longer you left it. So my guns were all A-OK to begin with, firing, you know, snipers, everything, and then my snipers stopped firing, and then the longer I left it, my shotgun stopped, and then eventually my elite class, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And one day I decided, you know what, I have to decide a way to fix this, or find a way to fix it, because I like this game and I want to play it, and I refuse to accept that you have to go out and buy a new controller. So I've done a bunch of research, and basically that's what led to the first video coming out, where I showed you a very simple fix when it comes to the Elite controller. You know, you pay enough money for that thing that allows you to customize the sensitivities of your triggers on its own without going into advanced control settings or anything like that. Regular controller users, unfortunately, were left a bit more in the dark. You had very little options, and it meant that you had to change your gaming style. So I either had to switch the triggers, so your LT to your RT, or you had to completely remap your buttons, so put on your bumpers, you're shooting one on your bumper, or you were left with no other option but to go buy a complete new controller and hope that that fixed it. Now, Battlefield 1 have decided, you know what, it's time to come to the party and actually allow players to resolve this in a nice, quick, simple fashion by introducing an advanced controller triggers option right here, and as you can see, the max input threshold, which allows you to increase or decrease your sensitivity, which you want to increase it. So you want your threshold to be lower, which will increase the sensitivity. Now, essentially, why is this important? Because it means you don't have to run out and buy a new controller now. It means you don't have to switch your triggers. It means you don't have to remap your buttons. You don't have to do any of that now. All you have to do is minimize the sensitivity. So obviously you go down past 100, but that will actually increase the sensitivity. That's a mind-boggling to everyone. So if you lower the percentage, it increases the sensitivity, which is what you want. And essentially that allows your guns to fire, because what was happening was the Battlefield 1, certain guns have a higher threshold of sensitivity than others, and your controller sort of wasn't meeting that sensitivity, and that's why you had to adjust your triggers, which, like I said, on the Elite controllers a lot easier to do. On regular controllers, you were sort of left with only very few options, and if they didn't work, you were always going out and buying a new one. But now that has changed. So what do I recommend for players? Definitely go into these options if you're still having the issue with the guns. Put it straight down to 50% and see if it works. If all your guns are firing, depending on which ones you're having issues with, check them out in the story mode, use them. If they're firing, then you fixed it. If you want to increase or decrease your sensitivity from that 50%, then by all means mess around with it. If not, and you're just happy that your guns are firing like I was when I first worked it out, then just keep with the 50 and go ahead. It's not really going to matter, and it's not going to transfer onto your other games, being that it is specifically in the Battlefield 1 options. It's not going to affect your other games, but it's going to allow you to shoot all those guns that you probably couldn't before with that issue. Now, this is a really good option, like I said, because it's allowing players that sort of felt like they had no options a way in which to resolve it in next to no seconds. Like, all you have to do is go straight into your controls, your advanced, and it's right there ready to go, which is something we haven't had before, which is really nice. So you know what, nice simple way to fix it. Go out there, do it, and I'll see you in Battlefield 1. Bye.